Straight ahead on 12 News, a bold pursuit into the unknown.
Hello, I'm Paul, and I would like to go to Mars.
Meet the New Hope man who has dreams of changing the world. Plus, cabin country comes to Brooklyn Center, but these cabins aren't your simple summer getaway place. But first, from the deep freeze to a weekend warm-up, and a whole host of problems in between. 12 News starts right now. The temperatures are finally warming, but that warm-up is creating a few problems.
The sudden thaw is causing trouble for some homeowners. 12 News reporter Sonia Goen shows why a New Hope family is a huge mess on their hands.
6-year-old Tamara likes playing on the wet carpet. Her mother, not so much.
Yeah, see, look how much water there is.
Helen Michael found out she had problems with her pipes when she got home from work last night.
I was shocked, yeah. I just didn't know what to do, and I could hear a sound like in the pipes, but I didn't know where the water was coming. It was just water all over. The carpet was wet, and everything else we had on the basement was wet.
She says at first she didn't know where the water was coming from, and it took a while to find the water shutoff valve.
When I called my husband, he said, "Turn off the main knob," and I said, "Where is it? Where's the knob?"
To add insult to injury, Helen had a hard time finding a plumber.
This morning I called 8 or 9 plumbers, and they were all busy, and they said, Monday, some of them even said Tuesday morning.
Plumber Dave Stanley answered her call.
This valve failed, so the water leaked through here, and it froze up behind there.
The Michael family has been without water since last night.
So we're gonna replace the valve and get the water back onto the house for them.
The Michael family is not alone in their water woes. Many homeowners don't even realize they too have problems with their pipes.
When it thaws, and especially once it warms up, if you have had pipes that have burst that you haven't noticed, then they're going to become apparent as soon as it thaws, because you're just going to have running water until you shut the water off.
Now, some homeowners are also having troubles with their kitchen pipes. One way to avoid trouble is to open up your kitchen cabinet and let the warm air heat up the pipe.
If there's no water coming at all, you definitely want to get a fan on blowing into that area and leave that faucet lightly open, because as it starts to thaw, if you allow the water to be moving, it'll help it thaw a lot quicker.
In New Hope, Sonia Goins, 12 News.
The extent of the Target data breach has grown. According to Target Corporation, even more people and more data could be impacted than first thought. On its website, Target said personal information, including names, mailing addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses, could also have been obtained. It could affect up to 70 million customers, and it's possible that that's in addition to the original 40 million customers whose financial information was exposed. Target is offering 1 year of free credit monitoring and identity theft protection to all customers who shopped in its stores. Target says customers will have zero liability for the cost of any fraudulent charges that arise from the breach.
Traffic safety officials say too many drivers are still making poor choices about drinking and driving. And according to recent DWI data, many of those poor choices came in Maple Grove. That city had the 4th most DWI arrests during a recent enforcement campaign between Thanksgiving and New Year's. The cities with more DWI arrests were Bloomington and St. Paul, with Minneapolis having the most.
Osseo's ongoing search for a new home for its police department now includes another location. The latest alternative is building an addition to Osseo City Hall. This option would cost between $800,000 and $1.1 million, depending on whether existing space is used at the back of City Hall for the new addition. The cost includes demolition of the existing police building. For years, the police department has been housed in this small home built around 1930. The Osseo City Council will take up the issue on Monday night.
Absentee voting started today for residents in the Wayzata School District who will decide 2 referenda questions. Voters will decide whether to approve funding to expand Wayzata High School and build a new elementary school. They will also vote whether to renew an existing technology levy. The special election will be held February 25th.
The spirit of giving is alive and well at an independent senior living community in Brooklyn Park. Creekside Gables is celebrating the launch of a food shelf for residents there. It was the vision of a Creekside Gables office assistant. Zenobia Carson wanted to help residents when they ran short on food and toiletries. She experienced those needs herself when she was younger and raising children. She believes the need is more than meets the eye.
It's a little different when you're a senior because our generation is kind of, we have a lot of pride. So we don't want to ask. And when the rent is paid and you paid for all your medications and all those things, sometimes there's not enough money left.
So far, donations have come from within. All of the items you see here came from Creekside Gables residents and staff. The feel of the Northwoods has arrived in Brooklyn Center.
You can step right into cabin country and experience log home living, but as Delane Cleveland reports, these aren't your simple log cabins.
It really is a lifestyle.
Step inside the exhibit hall at Earl Brown Heritage Center.
There's a sense of relief, and when you pull into your cabin and it's all wood, it's comforting. It really is.
And enter a world of tranquility and solitude.
We've been building with wood for thousands of years.
A throwback to an era of days gone by.
It creates a different atmosphere than sheetrock and paint. Just cannot duplicate.
Eric Johnson is the manager of the Log and Timber Home Show.
Minnesotans have been building log and timber homes forever, so they kind of have a real knack or already understand them or know what they're about.
About 1,000 people will come to the show this weekend, and organizers admit that many of the items here are a little bit higher end, but there's just something about the feel.
It's a special home. They're one of a kind. For a lot of people, this is a lifelong dream.
In fact, he says 15,000 log and timber framed homes are built annually in the U.S.
It's a big business.
One company making those dreams come true.
They can look at this floor plan and this floor plan and say, ooh, I like that.
Is Michigan-based Timbercraft Homes.
Well, before the housing crash, it was crazy. Super, super busy.
They build timber frame structures that go in a home's interior. And after several down years, the market has rebounded.
This year was a tremendous year, and we can see the growth, and next year is going to be a really big year again. So it's coming back.
He admits it's a niche building style, but it's coming back due to the classic look, smell, and texture.
It's just the beauty of the wood.
And everyone here aims to make those dreams become reality.
It really is a lifestyle, and the wood softens things up. It's got some texture to it. It's really exciting, actually.
In Brooklyn Center, Delane Cleveland, 12 News.
The show begins Friday at 4 p.m., runs through Sunday at 4 p.m. Admission is $15. Well, could it no longer be a sci-fi dream? Up next, we'll meet a New Hope man who has his sights set on a trip to Mars.
And then a little later in sports, it's the number 2 versus number 3 in boys hockey as Wayzata takes on Hill Murray.
But first, dripping icicles in your AccuWeather forecast. The weekend melt is on. To say it would be the adventure of a lifetime is an understatement.
A New Hope man has a dream to travel and live on the planet Mars. Reporter Shannon Slatton introduces us to Paul Larson, who is a semifinalist for a one-way ticket to the Red Planet.
When legendary explorers like the Vikings or Christopher Columbus set out on a voyage of discovery, they didn't know what they would find or if they would ever see home again. But history remembers them for boldly pursuing the unknown.
Hello, I'm Paul, and I would like to go to Mars because I have this grandiose idea of changing the world.
Paul Larson could go down in the history books for being part of the first colony on Mars.
That's bigger than me individually or my family, because what will be accomplished with this mission will affect generations to come long after we're gone.
As a graduate student at St. Cloud State University, Paul wanted to research something new.
I was tired of everybody doing the same old reports.
Then he heard about a privately funded mission called Mars One.
And I said, whoa, time for me to redo my resume.
But then it got even more real. Out of more than 200,000 applicants, Paul made the cut to be a semifinalist for colonization starting in 2024.
This would be a good dream to go.
But the project isn't without skeptics who insist the money and technology just isn't there yet.
I don't know where all this negativity is coming from as far as the mission goes. You know, if you have a dream to do something, you do it, right?
There's also the tough question of Paul leaving his family. He would be going to Mars and not coming back.
It'll be okay. We have he said we have 10 years to prepare.
His family is taking that news one step at a time, but ready to support Paul if he has the chance to step on Mars and into history.
Be part of that new frontier and, create some history and be a part of that. That would be very exciting.
In New Hope, Shannon Slatton, 12 News.
And Paul is one of 1,060 others who are the semifinalists or at the semifinalist stage. And we understand that his next step is to call his doctor and get a physical. And wouldn't you love to hear that conversation? Doc, I'm going to Mars, but I need to make sure I'm healthy.
You might have to look in his book and see what to check him out for.
Exactly. Coming up, proof that everyone has a soft side.
We'll meet a former fighter with a tender heart. But first in sports, the top-ranked Wayzata girls Nordic team gets set for a huge meet this weekend. John Jacobson with a preview coming up next. John Jacobson with sports. We start with hockey and a team on a roll against a team that's pretty good.
Yeah, two very good hockey teams. A great non-conference matchup Thursday. The second-ranked Wayzata boys hockey team rode a 7-game winning streak into their Thursday night tilt with third-ranked Hill Murray. As expected, this was a good game. Highlights from Aldrich Arena. First period, Chase Heising makes a great stretch pass to Jack Sorensen who rips the shot just under the crossbar for a 1-0 Trojans lead. In the second, the Pioneers on the power play work a nice give and go. Mitch Slattery setting up Josh French for the goal, and it's 1-1. Wayzata takes the lead back. Max Zimmer gets to the open ice in the left circle and lasers a shot top corner. It's 2-1 Trojans. But Hill Murray draws even again. Slattery with a great move around the defenseman. The shot trickles through Vaughn Aarons to make it 2-2. Then with less than 30 seconds to play in the third period, French scores the game-winning goal shorthanded. Wayzata is the hard luck loser. 3-2 Hill Murray is the final. The Nordic ski season has had an uneven start with conditions not always favorable, including this week's extreme cold. The defending state champion Wayzata girls are set for one of the biggest meets of the regular season. In fact, Saturday's Musabi Invitational at Giants Ridge in Biwabik is billed as the largest race in North America, with 1,200 skiers from 76 schools in Minnesota and other states competing. It's definitely a highlight event for the Trojans.
Yeah, it's like the biggest meet besides the state meet. I think it's the biggest high school meet in America. So it does matter. Hopefully we'll win it, but I guess the biggest goal is to do all the state meet in February.
It's schools from all over, Minnesota, Wisconsin, a couple other states. So it's kind of cool to compare yourself to other skiers in different places.
Wayzata captured its second state championship in girls Nordic skiing last season. Much of that title team is back this winter, and many of the girls were on the Trojans state championship cross-country team this fall. They're off to a good start this winter.
We haven't been racing as much as we'd like to because of kind of like the lack of snow and then the cold temperatures, but the races that we have done so far have gone really well and we've won all of them, so I think we're doing well.
Champlain Park, Osseo, Park Center, and Benilde St. Margaret's are among the teams along with Wayzata that will ski at Giants Ridge Saturday, which is also home of next month's state meet. The Hopkins girls basketball team has won 3 consecutive state titles in Class 4A. The Royals are looking like a threat to make it 4 straight. Hopkins is rolling again after a very rare occurrence. It was a losing streak. The Royals lost back-to-back games to Eastview and Lakeville North in mid-December. It definitely got their attention.
The losses really motivated us, and it made us realize that every game is not going to be easy. We have to play everybody like it's our last. Everybody's going to play hard against us. So we're working to play. We're looking forward to play hard against everybody.
Every year we've never gone undefeated, and I feel like we can take a lot from that, both games. Just from the standpoint, had we beaten Eastview, had we made that last shot at the end of the game, or had we not gotten our tails kicked by Lakeville North, we wouldn't be where we are today, I think, and we wouldn't be working as hard as we are in practice.
Hopkins is 10-2 overall and on a 5-game winning streak heading into Friday night's game against Maranatha. That includes 3 impressive wins in their Dick's Sporting Goods Classic Holiday Tournament. The Royals are healthier now after some injuries and playing better defense.
Yeah, I think we are. And with the bench yelling and screaming on the bench, it gets the momentum in the game going. And I feel like our defense is getting a little better, but we tend to be lackadaisical when we're up by a lot, but I feel like it's getting better.
After Friday's game at Maranatha, Hopkins plays at St. Paul Central on Tuesday. And Mike and Alex, Osseo senior Ian Tyson became the school's all-time leading scorer in boys basketball Thursday night. He had 18 points against Coon Rapids and broke the career mark set by Brian Foss back in 2002.
Wow, outstanding accomplishment.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, good for him.
Thanks, Jen. Still ahead, he was a mean fighting machine.
Some have called me a brute.
How this former professional kickboxer developed a soft heart when we come back.
A Plymouth man has many titles to his name, and now he can add children's book author to the list.
In today's Weekend Showcase, we introduce you to the man and show you why his new literary career is a far cry from the life he used to lead. Here's Cassie Bonstrom.
Who's that? Is that me? Pappy? It was a great day out in the backyard.
There are all kinds of stories.
That's Rocky there.
And this one happens to be about the bond between a little girl
The first few pages are the introduction of who we are.
and her grandpa.
She just captured my heart as soon as the first day I met her.
Little Josie playing outside with her Pappy, as she calls him, holding butterflies and building sandcastles.
What's that up here?
A flag.
Yeah, we used to like to make a lot of flags, didn't we?
The idea to write a children's book came 2 years ago. Ricky Lee wanted to document the adventures he was having with Josie, who was just 2 at the time.
It's very real, yeah. And all these things are things that have happened to us or what we've done and experienced.
It's about the simple pleasures of being outside together, a lesson he says is just as important for adults as it is for kids.
That's one of the lessons I would love to transfer on for the parents. Just to get involved more, put the cell phone away for a while.
It's also a tribute to Josie, to how much Josie has changed him.
It's amazing what a child can do.
How differently he now sees the world.
Some have called me a brute. I've been called an animal multiple times.
The tender, soft-spoken man spent 30 years as a professional kickboxer. Now he's just Pappy. Life no longer revolves around the boxing ring, but rather those big brown eyes. And as their adventures continue, Ricky hopes the books do too.
It really grabbed at my heart.
In Plymouth, Cassie Bonstrom, 12 News.
Ricky is doing a book signing this Saturday at the Bookcase in Wayzata from 2 to 4 p.m. If you'd like to pick up a copy, you can also purchase the book on Amazon. And the next book about his adventures with Josie at the Horse Barn should be out later this summer. Quite a change, huh?
I'd say.
That's pretty cool. That's it for now. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone.
Have a great weekend. Community Corner is coming up next.